Well, hi, everyone. This is Sebastian Traeger. I'm the managing director at Reliability, and welcome back to another episode of Reliability 4.0. We're on a mission to help make the world a more reliable place. And today we've been joined by our guest, Justin Smith. Justin, thank you so much for being on. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Sebastian.
Justin serves as the senior manager for regional engineering and maintenance at Americold Logistics. And I'm really excited to dive in, learn more about his company, learn more about him, and then really just gain some wisdom from him about what he's doing in the engineering world and how that might be able to help you practically. So, Justin, first, give me a little bit of background about Americold Logistics, what the business does, and then your role in it.
Yeah, so Americold is a global company. We have 240 plus facilities around the world. What we do is we store temperature control products for our customers, a lot of the big food manufacturers throughout the US and globally. And we're kind of the transport hub. So if you have food on your table, more than likely it went through one of our facilities. We're a publicly traded company, one of the largest REITs that's on the stock market right now. So I've been with the company since 2012. I started in Massillon, Ohio as an engineering manager overseeing two sites, mainly refrigeration, buildings, facilities, material handling equipment, racking, any type of sprinkler systems. So I've done that for about 5 years, and then I was moved into another role, district engineering manager. So in that role, I took on a broader responsibilities. I believe I overseen about 7 to 9 facilities. Some of those facilities were new to our organization. We like to grow through acquisitions. So that was a lot of change management there, as far as CMMS implementation, training on our engineering practices, our engineering policies, getting the teams kind of acclimated into Americold culture. Then
Good.
From there, in about 2018, I believe, another promotion into regional manager. So that kind of switched me into our corporate team. We're based out of Atlanta, Georgia. From there, I went from about 9 facilities into 50 plus facilities that I was overseeing with my team. Right now, my team here in the East region consists of director of engineering and another peer regional engineering manager. So large portion of what we do, or what I've done in that role, was capital planning and execution, a lot of leadership type functions, CMMS implementation, acquisition, integration, and then the fires that come up, the unplanned downtime, emergency situations, technician development. We have a very robust technician development course that we're very proud of. So about the same time, I felt the need and seen the need to further my education, in order to keep growing within an organization. So I started going after professional certifications. I went back to college, those types of things, so that those didn't really hinder my ability to keep me moving up in an organization or any organization. That's really when I felt, okay, it's time to go back to school to get some more certifications so that I can serve my team properly. Also been blessed to been surrounded by some great mentors and coaches, a few of which I still work with. I've gained more than a normal person could, because I'm surrounded by a lot of folks that have lifetimes of leadership in big companies like Coca-Cola, Kellogg's, and those type of companies. So then that brings me into my latest position, where as senior manager right now, I am overseeing still in the northeast portion of the United States. Plus, I've taken on added responsibility of Canada and Argentina. So I'm getting international experience and exposure, which has been phenomenal for my growth, because, in the US, we have a certain way of going about things. The companies differ a little bit, but when you get into another country, now you got to learn their laws, what type of involvement the government has and how capital is released and spent, and different type of cultures. So it's been very well. So that's where I'm at today.
That's great. Well, thank you for sharing all that. I want to drill back down into the company a little bit. So for Americold, at one level, it's refrigeration. What is the most interesting thing that you all store, do you think?
We store anything and everything. So we have vaccines, a lot of medical a lot of the medical vaccines are temperature sensitive, very temperature sensitive. So in order to get those to the right folks, we store those in our facilities. We're very trusted when it comes to that because our reputation with temperature control is very good. If we do have a downtime event or something like that, we have the knowledge and the skill within the company to ensure that the product does not become exposed or spoil or the vaccines get too warm. So we do that. Anything from lobster to crab to, with a lot of imports from other countries that come in, protein, you name it. If it needs to be chilled or stored, we're your company.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, good. Well, that's fun to hear about. Well, let's shift a little bit into the work that you're doing. So I always like to start folks out by just kind of understanding within the job, what are the most important metrics that you're focused on? So what are the KPIs that you work towards and that you're really focused on with your team?
Yeah, so as far as reliability goes, reliability KPIs, you obviously have your PM completion rate and you try to keep that in the 95%. I think a lot of folks tend to laser in on that. That's just kind of a leading type of things like, okay, we have our completion rate at 95. What's our unplanned maintenance? Are we taking a look at that? What are the items that we find on our PMs that's driving our daily work, our schedule? If we're just PMing things to PM them and we're not really coming up with anything that we can put on the schedule to ensure the reliability of the equipment, then we're not getting anywhere. So you really need to take a look at the PM completion versus, the work orders that come from the PM and not ensure that we're not PMing and fixing at the same time. PM's it's meant to basically inspect, lubricate, wipe down, and find potential failures. So that's something that we really do look at. Meantime, before failure, if we're under PMing or over PM anything, it's going to come to light, with the breakdowns there. Meantime to repair, how long is it actually taking us to repair something? Can we compare that against other facilities? So the good thing about having so many facilities, we can take, okay, in Pennsylvania, it's taking them an hour to replace a component, but in California, it's taking them a half hour. How is that happening? And can we take best practices and put it in with that? So we like to do that. Technician documented work is another big thing. I think that gets looked over a lot. So how are we utilizing our workforce? If they're doing 40 hours of work, is that documented per work orders? And then you get a lot of folks, I need to add head count or we don't have enough technicians. And you go look at the documented work and you can either confirm or deny that. Without that, in our world, you're really just making a guess. So it helps to right size the mechanics that are there on site.
Great. Well, it's good. And so then within those kind of either KPIs or just kind of priorities that you're working on, what are kind of the top challenges, top priorities looking ahead to 2025?
2025, we're to just continue to get better. I look at all of our KPIs as continuous improvement. All right, we're here. What's the next level? What can we get to? Button up our task list. Task lists are something that I strongly believe in. You can have something as small as check bearing, check this, check that, but we want to evolve into, take 5/8 wrench, unloosen it 3 times, with all the tool list. That way, when the technician gets to whatever they're working on, whether it be a PM or unplanned, they have a kitted project that they're able to execute. And that really drives the time savings, labor savings, and helps get the equipment back up when needed. So we're really looking forward to fine tuning a lot of our PMs and get more into the predictive. We do a lot of predictive maintenance, continue to drive that. We have a big initiative going for vibration monitoring, acoustics. Acoustics are coming real big right now, for bearing failures, those types of things, infrared. So taking away a lot of the PMs that can be done predictively is something that we're striving for right now.
Okay. And what tools are you using for that? I always like to find out from folks, not just kind of what their goals are and what they're trying to do, but what technologies are they using to do those? So what tools, I know you said you've done some CMMS migrations or integrations. Yeah, what are you using either in the CMMS world or otherwise to enable you to tackle these goals?
So a big one we're doing now in our warehouses, every warehouse has large industrial refrigeration compressors. In the past or what we're used to is, you do the 6 month vibration analysis. So every 6 months, you do vibration and oil analysis. You may or may not catch something vibrating at that time. It's just something that we've used in the industry for years. We're moving away into onboard vibration, continuous vibration. And that's really where you catch those early failures. You basically have like three levels of bearing failure. You got one, two, three. With doing the onboard vibration, we can catch it in the early one and we can monitor it until it gets into that two, and we can plan the downtime, get it changed out. With the vibration, how it's been done in the industry for years, it's okay, we might catch it on a one, we might catch it on a three, we may not catch it. And we're setting up baselines using machine learning to set up those baselines, look for vibration. That's really saving on our rebuilds. So if a compressor goes out, you don't catch it on vibration or something like that, then it's going to be very costly. So we're driving down costs in that regard just by doing those types of things. Also using, acoustic. You got bearing failure, you can just walk around. You can cut down on PM. You can almost eliminate some type of PMs by just doing a walkthrough, checking your bearings, those types of things. And we're also using infrared scanning for our electrical. Really finding some great things on that. We implemented that program years ago. We're fine tuning it, but taking a look at those motor starters, seeing what the early failures are, what the temperatures are. Lots of times it's just a loose wire, but if you don't catch that loose wire, it's going to end up costing you a starter, maybe a whole motor starter, a PLC. The impact of that could be very costly. So we're really diving into those types of things right now.
Great. And how are you using your CMMS, and how much are you leveraging that tool across the organization?
We live and breathe by CMMS. We've actually done a migration in 2024. We started CMMS migration into another platform, and we're really using that for planning, scheduling. We're using that for operations, notifications. Everybody's been in the situation where somebody's coming in the shop every 10 minutes to tell you this is broke, and you're trying to keep up with it in your head. So go into a notification system, either be planner scheduler or the engineering manager, release those into a work order, and then we can plan them. If they're emergencies, we can do that. We went into iPads now. So iPads are really showing us, when it comes to even retention, just having, they don't have to come back and forth to the office to complete work orders. They can do it on site. If they're standing at a piece of equipment, they can create the work order. They can look up schematics, those types of things. So we're really excited about our tablet-based work. And when the technician logs in, they can see their weekly schedules on there. A planner scheduler would schedule that. They log in under their name. It has their daily work, their weekly work. They can get a lot done, which saves more time for wrenching.
It's good. So our company obviously does a lot of root cause analysis. A lot of times RCA tools are built into CMMSs. To what extent is RCA used at your company? And how important is it? What are you using for it? Love to hear you talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we really started diving into RCA 5-6 years ago. It was, basically once you have the data or you don't have the correct data, it's hard to do an RCA unless you're just writing it down on a whiteboard. So we do various things. Most common, the easiest one that we do is 5 whys. So you just, piece of paper, you got to really be careful when you're doing those. Make sure you have a cross-functional team with you. You can't just be a couple maintenance techs. You got to have either some leadership or some operational folks in there, because they can bring so much value to the main goal, and that's to keep the operation running. So we do a lot of RCAs, fishbone diagrams. We're doing fishbones. FMEAs, if it's a very complicated issue or we can't get it, fixed within those tools, we can move to an FMEA. We like to do those before the equipment's installed, but you can always go back and do it. Anybody that's done those know they're a little more time demanding than a regular. Okay, what happened? What are we doing to fix it?
Right.
So, but we do those. We also go back and look at our PMs. A lot of folks, what you run into is okay, this keeps breaking down, so we're going to go from a 6-month PM to a 3-month PM. That's usually never the actual case. So by sitting down and really thinking, okay, we need to do this, or we need to change our PM function, include the failure modes, because you pull the PM up, it doesn't have the failure modes in it. It has everything else but. So you can do a PM optimization that way.
Okay.
We pull bad actor reports. So basically on the financial end, you can see, okay, we're putting this much money into this asset. We need to pull that, do a root cause analysis, see what we can do to improve the reliability of that asset. And, that really helps to drive the cost savings in that regard too.
Yeah. So, and then what tool are you using to do that? Is it just pen and paper, or is there a platform that you're using?
We're getting into using the platform. Like I said, we just migrated to another system. So we're getting that straightened out. And then we're going to get into more of some software-based RCAs. But right now, like I said,
Mostly.
the 5Y
Yeah.
Fishbone, if you're
Okay, great.
your classic ones.
Yeah, that's good. Well, obviously there's so much knowledge you have and experience. We could keep talking for a long time, but I'd love to hear, just kind of as you think about your expertise and think about our audience, just other reliability engineers, maintenance managers, what is kind of one thing that you feel like you've learned over the years that you're kind of like, hey, I wish I knew then, and here's some words of wisdom, kind of final word to impart?
Something that's really grown and why I've got such a good relationship with my team is ensuring that the communication's there. That, we're not just coming in your facility, rolling this out, saying you got to go by these metrics. You really need to set up a solid training program when it comes to reliability. You need to ensure that we're celebrating wins, that we're putting the right folks in the job, and we're building their skills every year, because everybody wants to build. So if you continue to do that, your communication, as far as, we use a one pager. It has all of our metrics on one page. We get it every week. We can put action plans together to further that, but just everybody knowing what's going on instead of the reliability engineer or the maintenance manager, make sure that that's throughout the whole company. I'm not talking just maintenance. Operation team, they need to know what we're doing. Once they get on board and they see, okay, this is the route we're going, and this is why, everybody comes full circle, and you can really make some things happen.
Good. That's great. I feel like no matter how technologically advanced we get, you just can't beat good old-fashioned communication and being on the same page with other people. And I especially like that idea of kind of a one pager with all your metrics. You just sit down around that, and it seems like a great way to get everybody on the same page and working towards the same goals.
Right.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much, Justin, for being with us today. Again, Justin's with Americold Logistics. And to all our listeners out there, to all those engineers, anyone in maintenance, again, we're really here to help you learn and take steps to more successful use of technology and practical tools and doing your work. If you're looking for root cause analysis training, resources, materials, software, we encourage you to check out our company, reliability.com, and our software, Easy RCA. We think it can be a big help to you. But for everybody, again, we are thankful for you to join us, as together we're on a journey to make the world a more reliable place. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you on the next episode of Reliability 4.0. Take care.
Thank you.